From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha Ashraf. Our top story tonight: individuals accused of using chemicals on pro-Palestine protesters in Columbia University have been banned. Columbia University has banned individuals accused of using a foul-smelling chemical known as skunk water on pro-Palestine protesters during a recent rally. Interim Provost Dennis Mitchell issued a statement condemning the incident as possibly constituting hate crimes. The university has banned the alleged perpetrators from campus while law enforcement investigates the matter. Following the attack, victims experienced blurred vision, dizziness, headaches, and nausea. The university has called on anyone with evidence of the event to cooperate with police. University officials did not specify whether the banned individuals were students. This incident adds to growing tension on American college campuses in the wake of Israel's ongoing war on Palestine. Columbia University previously suspended Palestinian student groups for violating school policies. The independent newspaper's Washington bureau chief, Eric Garcia, says Republicans' decision to acquit Donald Trump led to his New Hampshire victory this week. In the op-ed piece, Garcia says in the wake of the U.S. Capitol attack, Trump faced isolation as many Republicans blamed him, including Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell. He argues that Trump's false claims about election theft presented an opportunity for some Republicans to distance themselves from him and focus on weakening President Joe Biden. But Trump's resounding victory in the New Hampshire primary following a win in Iowa confirms his 2024 Republican nomination. Despite facing multiple felony charges, Trump maintains a strong grip on the GOP. Garcia says having removed critics like Liz Cheney, Trump has also benefited from the departure of senators who voted against him. Observers say Trump has turned the GOP into a cult of personality for his base, with once reluctant Republicans now staunchly defending Trump, fearing the party's base. The head of New York's public schools has unveiled a comprehensive plan aimed at promoting unity and ensuring student safety. The move comes amid a surge in incidents of discrimination and hate crimes against Jewish and Muslim communities since early October. Chancellor David Banks emphasizes the need to combat hate in schools and said the plan will focus on enhancing education and safety measures. New York City schools are under federal investigation for discrimination. Most cases involve allegation of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. The plan includes training for middle and high school principals in handling difficult conversations and disciplining students who violate school rules. It also calls for forming an interfaith advisory council to approve curriculum content related to Jews and Muslims. Banks says investigations into anti-Semitism and Islamophobia will be prioritized. He defends students accused of bigotry from outside criticism. Banks stressed the importance of distinguishing between truth and misinformation, as well as disagreement and hate, to address these complex issues effectively. President Joe Biden's re-election campaign has called for an investigation into a series of robocalls in New Hampshire impersonating the president. The calls asked Democrats not to vote in the primary. Kathy Sullivan, a prominent New Hampshire Democrat, urged the prosecution of those responsible, labeling it an attack on democracy. New Hampshire Attorney General John Fermella advised voters to disregard the call's message. The recorded message mimics Biden's voice, urging Democrats to save their vote for the November election, claiming voting in the primary benefits Republicans. The call included Sullivan's phone number. Sullivan leads the Granite for America super PAC, supporting Biden as a write-in candidate. Concerns about the use of AI in campaign ads have arisen, with OpenAI recently banning a developer for violating API usage policies. The advocacy group Public Citizen has petitioned the Federal Election Commission to regulate AI in campaign ads. As the FEC refused the matter, state lawmakers also have introduced bills addressing the issue. The Los Angeles Times has terminated 115 journalists, more than 20% of its newsroom. Members of Congress have warned in a letter that sweeping media layoffs could undermine democracy in a high-stakes election year. The newspaper, with one of the largest print circulations in the U.S., recently lost its top editors. The newsroom union held a day-long strike in protest, urging owner Patrick Soon-Shiong to reconsider layoffs. Young journalists of color were disproportionately affected, contrary to the paper's 2020 commitment to diversity. While 94 union members received layoff notices, fewer than expected lost their jobs due to the strike's influence. The layoffs spanned various roles, affecting digital initiatives, cultural writers, and national political coverage. Prominent figures, including Pulitzer Prize winning Washington bureau chief Kimbrell Kelly, were among those let go. Experts say the layoffs are a result of financial struggles and a lack of clear leadership. The media industry nationwide faces challenges, with other major outlets also implementing significant layoffs. More than 210 Palestinians have been killed and nearly 400 others wounded in Israeli strikes over the past 24 hours. The Palestinian Media Office in Gaza reports a staggering total of 63,740 injuries since Israel's aggression began October 7. Israeli forces have continued relentless tank and drone strikes on the city of Khan Yunis, killing about 50 Palestinians in a single day. People attempting to flee Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis have been fired upon by Israeli tanks and attack drones. Footage captured by ITV News shows a Palestinian with his hands raised in surrender being fatally shot. Ramzi Abu Sahlul was part of a group waving a white flag. Mass panic has gripped southern Gaza as Israeli forces have issued evacuation orders for about 513,000 residents. The death toll in Gaza now stands at 25,700, while 1,139 Israelis have been killed since the conflict began. A family member of an Israeli prisoner held by Hamas claims Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is deliberately sacrificing prisoners to prolong his political career. Noam Dan told an Israeli media outlet that this is part of a broader strategy known as the Hannibal Directive, accusing his government of annihilating its own citizens. Dan's cousin, Ofer Kalderson, was taken prisoner by Hamas on October 7. She criticizes Israel for obstructing the prisoner release process and failing to cooperate. Dan says Israel's leadership should look for ways to get the prisoners back. Belgium has pledged its support for the International Court of Justice's potential verdict on a ceasefire in Gaza. Other EU countries such as Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic, who are staunch allies of Israel, have rejected South Africa's ICJ petition charging Israel of genocide. France has also refused to back the ICJ case. Hungary condemned South Africa for filing the case. Slovenia expressed support for another ICJ case concerning Palestinian rights. Belgium's Minister of Development Cooperation and Urban Policy, Caroline Gennes, affirmed the country's backing for South Africa's case. She called for an immediate ceasefire and humanitarian aid delivery to Gaza. In November, the Belgian government, a coalition of 7 political parties, said €5 million from the federal government will be used to support the ICJ to investigate possible war crimes in Israel and Gaza. In related news, experts say Belgium's decision to support the International Court of Justice's verdict on Israel is rooted in its historical dedication to international law and its commitment to Palestine and Israel. They compare Belgium's position to its previous stance on foreign policy matters, such as the Iraq War. Belgium currently holds the EU Council presidency and plays a pivotal role in building consensus among member states. Prime Minister Alexander De Croo's Flemish Liberal Party and Flemish Christian Democrats have also taken a firmer stance on Palestine recently. However, the upcoming June elections could alter Belgium's position if a new government comes to power. Mark Botenga of Belgium's Leftist Workers' Party and an EU lawmaker said the government's support to the ICJ is still limited. The killer of 4 members of Absol family from Ontario, Canada, says he regrets his actions. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. During a sentencing hearing, Nathaniel Veltman, who killed 4 members of a Muslim family in London, Ontario in 2021, expressed regret for his actions. Veltman was found guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder for striking the Absol family with a struck in June 2021. Crown prosecutors alleged Veltman was a white supremacist planning violence. Veltman apologized, saying he regrets the loss of the Afsal family, but the victim's family members dismissed the statement as strategic. The uncle of victim Madi Salman, Ali Islam, called it a ploy for the parole board. The trial marked the first time Canada's terrorism laws were applied in a first-degree murder case. The sentencing and terrorism designation decision are scheduled for February 22. A Muslim woman is challenging Canada's contentious ban on adoptions from several Muslim nations in the federal court. Critics argue the move would not be necessary if the government were not maintaining a discriminatory policy. The ban was initially imposed in 2013. It halted adoptions from Pakistan, citing conflicts with Sharia law and Islamic principles. However, it was quietly extended to other Muslim-majority countries like Iran, Sudan, Iraq, Qatar, Afghanistan, and Algeria. Jamila Qadir, a Toronto woman, is at the heart of the court battle. She cared for her sister's 3 children after his mother's death, gaining recognition as their adoptive mother in Pakistan. However, Canada refused to acknowledge the status, citing differences in legal systems. Qadir's case challenges the ban's constitutionality, arguing that it violates the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The outcome of the case could impact many families and individuals in similar situations. The court proceedings may lead to the ban's revision or removal, bringing hope to those affected by this policy. Pakistan has no official adoption law. Instead, it relies on the principle of guardianship, which preserves lineage to protect inheritance rights. The European Council has acted against 6 entities currently involved in the ongoing conflict in Sudan. The Council's statement points fingers at the 6 for their role in supporting activities that destabilize Sudan's political transition and overall stability. Notably, 2 companies, Defense Industry System and SMT Engineering, implicated in the production of weapons and vehicles for the SAF, are among those facing sanctions. The Sudanese Army and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, have been engaged in relentless fighting since April of last year. Despite international efforts to broker a lasting ceasefire, violence in Sudan continues to escalate, displacing over 7.5 million people and leading to a dire humanitarian crisis. In November, the European Union raised concerns about the escalating violence in Sudan's Darfur region. It warned against the risk of a repeat of the devastating 2003 to 2008 conflict, which claimed 300,000 lives and displaced over 2 million people. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Russian President Vladimir Putin marked the groundbreaking of Egypt's Alaba nuclear power plant on Tuesday. The leaders hailed the joint venture as a milestone in their countries' relations. El-Sisi emphasized the importance of the nuclear plant amid global energy challenges aiming to reduce dependency on fossil fuels. Putin affirmed Russia's commitment to modern industries and cooperation. They discussed the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, with both leaders expressing interest in bridging gaps and ending the violence. They also highlighted collaboration on a Russian industrial zone in the Suez Canal area and Egypt's desire to become a full member of BRICS economic grouping of nations. The DOR Duke Foundation has committed $6 million to back 3 initiatives supporting Muslim Americans in the arts and entertainment industry. Foundation President and CEO Sam Gill announced the grants during an event at the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah on Monday. Its aim is to combat the rise of Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and discrimination against communities of color. The largest portion, $4.5 million, will establish the U.S. Muslim Documentary Fund through the Center for Asian American Media. The Muslim Public Affairs Council's Hollywood Bureau will receive approximately $1.4 million over 3 years for events and activities at various film festivals. As well, the Islamic Scholarship Fund will receive $100,000 to create a fellowship program for budding Muslim American creatives in the entertainment field. Gill emphasized the need for diverse storytelling in Hollywood to challenge intolerance and reshape culture. The DOR Duke Foundation's Building Bridges program, initiated in 2007 to combat Islamophobia, has given over $46 million in grants. It now increasingly supports cultural and entertainment initiatives. That's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.